Antjuan Seawright is a Democratic strategist, founder and CEO of Blueprint Strategy, former senior advisor to the Hillary Clinton campaign. And he's talking about the Michael Cohen tapes and how they're fueling a debate over Trump, cash, credibility. Antjuan, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Glad to be here. Good morning to you.
All right. So tell me what your take on all of this is. I honestly, and listen, I'm not a Trump guy, but I got to tell you, Cohen coming out and just spilling his guts on stuff that this is his client. This is a guy that paid him. This is a guy that he was loyal to, and now he's throwing him under the bus. I'm not sure it's not cool. It's certainly, I don't know if it's legal.
So a couple of things. Number one, it is legal. There is nothing in the state of New York laws that prohibit him from taping his client. But I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to play one on your radio show this morning. I'll say a few things just from my perspective. Number one, as I said on Fox News on Cavuto's show on Saturday, I think if the tapes are true, this is another page in a catalog of lies by this president.
Yeah.
So that means if we can't trust him on something as simple as this, then how can we trust him in good faith to negotiate behind closed doors 2 hours with a thug and an enemy of this country, Vladimir Putin? How can we, as Democrats, trust him in good faith to negotiate on policy perspectives across the aisle? How can his own party, Republican Party, trust him to go in good faith to negotiate on policy? I'll give you an example. I mean, he had a commitment to some GOP senators that we would not have government shutdown before the midterm elections. If you heard him the past couple of days,
he's talking about
this morning, now talking about a government shutdown again. So it's a matter of whether you can trust Trump going forward, and I don't think you can trust him. I'm from South Carolina. There's an old saying in rural South Carolina that there's no education in the second kick of the mule. So if you lie once, then there's a good chance you'll lie again.
Do you think Rudy Giuliani is helping or hurting the president right now? He's all over the place.
I think Rudy Giuliani is off the reservoir. I mean, we went from having a conversation 1,000,000,001 times to no collusion, it's all a witch hunt. And now the new talking point as of last night and now this morning by the president, collusion is not a crime. Keep in mind, there were 4 times under oath where Donald Trump Jr. Testified that he did not inform his dad about a meeting with the Russians. Now the story is changing, and this is why the work of the special prosecutor is important. We all know why President Trump hired Rudy Giuliani. They're cut from the same cloth. They would get on TV, mislead the American people, have the media chasing some shiny object to take the attention off what's real and what's reality. And I think we all know that.
Antjuan Seawright was a former senior advisor of the Hillary Clinton campaign, and I have to ask you, there's stories out today that Hillary is getting back in. She's going to be campaigning for members of the House members that are either trying to hold on to their jobs or challenge Republicans. She has donated to, 14, 15, 17, 19 campaigns. I got to tell you something. If she were to donate to our congressional candidate, the Democrat who's challenging the incumbent Republican, was a first-time Congresswoman, I got to tell you, I think it would hurt him. Hillary Clinton is pretty toxic in upstate New York, and it's interesting because she was, and I know I'll get yelled at for this, but it is true, she was a very effective senator for upstate New York. But for some reason, she's hated here. Do you think she's helping or hurting for the midterms for Democrats? I don't think she's helping.
So a number of things. Number one, keep in mind Secretary Clinton did receive 3 million more votes than the person who occupies the White House. And number two,
well, that's what you say.
People, I get it. I get so frustrated when people say things like she needs to go away, she needs to be put in a box, she needs to be locked in the closet. Look, Hillary Clinton has been a tremendous asset. Take the partisan labels off to this country, whether it was First Lady or Secretary of State. She still has a tremendous role to play for the Democratic Party. She's a heck of a messenger. She's a heck of a fundraiser. And like any other partisan figure, there are places where it doesn't make sense and she's not as popular. But then there are places where she is popular. and where she did win a lot of these congressional races in which she donated money to the 19 candidates. I think every place she donated is a district that she won during the presidency.
Yeah, that's what
So
I figured that. Yeah,
for Democrats,
and
for Democrats, we need all hands on deck.
I get it.
So I welcome her to the party. I think she has a role, and I don't think we should lock her in the closet. The Republicans didn't tell Mitt Romney that. They didn't tell John McCain that. I mean, keep in mind, Mitt Romney lost the presidency, and now he's a U.S. Senator again. So this whole idea of shoving people in the closet, it doesn't work.
But again,
he's not a U.S. senator yet, though. I think he's running to be a U.S. senator.
But and
He will be a U.S. senator.
It works in certain districts, but on a national level,
he could not. She could not donate, which is why she probably hasn't.
Right.
To donate to Anthony Brindisi's campaign because it would not work in this district. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, it doesn't make sense in certain places.
I get
but
it.
in certain places, it does make sense.
All right. Interesting conversation. I'd like to do this again, Antjuan. Antjuan Seawright is a Democratic strategist, and thanks for taking the time this morning. Interesting stuff. But you realize that no matter what happens, none of it's going to change. Trump's popularity is still going to inch a little higher every week. It's really crazy how it happens.
Among his base, however, I think keep in mind there were 100 million people who did not vote in that last election. Mm-hmm. And so while Trump's base popularity may increase, if independent thinkers, independent and Democrats get off their butts and do what they need to do in 18 and 20, we'll be singing a different hymn note in days to come.
Without keeping it going, let's be honest. Democrats are like shooting themselves in the foot all over the country. It seems like they can't get their stuff together. It's a mess.
I don't disagree with you. I've said this publicly, and I'll say it on your show again. We cannot be the party of anti-Trump, nor can we be the party of impractical policy because it doesn't help us win in places. And our party is bigger than New York, Massachusetts, and California. We have to win in places in the South, like where I'm from. We have to win in the Midwest. And we have to block and tackle in ways that make sense. Look, what works in Brooklyn may not work for Claire McCaskill, Missouri, but that's okay. But we need all of that. What works in Brooklyn in certain parts of New York may not work in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Look, there are certain policies that work for Governor Cuomo in certain parts of the state that do not work in certain parts of New York. And I get that. And that's the beauty about the Democratic Party. That's the beauty about America. We're all different. We all have different priorities.
We'll do it again, Antjuan, if you're willing. Antjuan Seawright, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll break.